Happy morning to one and all. How are you, children? Are you all happy and safe? Well, the same statement is being asked repeatedly, right? All of us ask the same question. Well, it's not just a statement, children. There is a lot of love and concern in that. Hope you realize that. Are you all praying every day, morning and evening? Prayers can do wonders in our life. Do you all believe in God? Yes, we all do. We all believe in God. The faith in God is unperishable, right? It keeps us moving. This faith in God keeps us moving. Well, why am I talking about God? Well, we are going to study something about that. We are going to wind up this chapter with a famous particle which was discovered some time back. It's called as God's particle. What is God's particle? Well, for that we have to go 50 years back. Yes. What were we studying? We were studying about the structure of atom. Yes. We started like atom is the most smallest particle. Later on it can be subdivided into fundamental particles like protons, electrons and neutrons. Out of that, again scientists were into more and more of these extensive studies. Well, it brought a smallest fraction of doubt for them whether these fundamental particles can they be divided further. They made an experiment and it was done in CERN, C-E-R-N, CERN. What is CERN? CERN is European Center for Nuclear Research. Well, it's situated in Geneva. And the machine is it's a tube which extends from the borders of Switzerland to France. It's around 24 kilometers, okay? And the tube is placed deep under the earth, that is 175 kilometers deep under the earth. And it has a circumference of about 25 square kilometers. Well, what did they do here? Yes, the scientist and the man who did this initiative was Peter Higgs. Later on, many other scientists joined him. Okay, so these protons were allowed to move in concentric circles with the speed of light and they were made to collide with each other. What happened? Well, when two things collide with each other, that too with the speed of the light, it will bombard. It will break up into smaller particles. And these scientists, they detected the presence of 11 subatomic particles or 11 even more smaller particles from protons. What did they find? They detected 11 even more minute particles coming out of proton. Well, what was the amazing thing about that? The amazing factor was all these 11 particles, they did not have any mass. How come? Proton has mass, we know that. Then how come that when a proton bombards and gives up more particles, they should also possess mass? How come they are not possessing mass? Well, the research for this extended for 50 years. On July 24, 2012, all the newspapers flashed headlines across the world. What was the headlines? What was the flash news? God's particle has been found out. Yes, they found out 12th particle which said that this is the particle which gives mass to all other 11 particles. And it is called as God's particle or Higgs boson particle. Yes, here concludes our lesson. What is Higgs boson particle? Well, it's not a particle actually, it's a field where the other 11 particles come into interaction. The more the particle interacts, the more mass it will acquire. If the particle reacts less or if the interaction is less mass will be acquired. To sum up, everything in this universe interacts with Higgs field or Higgs particle. So you, me and the entire universe, we all possess mass because of Higgs particle. Very interesting, right? Yes, you can Google and find out more facts. And if you come up with any interesting fact, post it to me. We will share it in the next video. Okay? So our lesson ends here. Now we will slowly move to the textual exercises. Okay? One by one. Shall we move to our first exercise? Well, the first question is a match the following. Shall we move to that? Come. Well, the first column you can see scientist and in the second column the contributions. First scientist is John Dalton. What did he do? He proposed atomic theory. So we can match that. Next is Michael Faraday. He proposed laws of electrolysis. J.J. Thomson was a scientist who discovered electron. And Rutherford is a man who proposed planetary model of an atom. So the answers are there. Now we will move to our second question. Okay? What is the second question? Yes. Atomic number is 17 and mass number is 35. It's already given here. Okay? So with that, we have to find out the number of protons, electrons and neutrons. So to find out the number of protons, what should you do? Should look at the atomic number. How much is it? 17. Atomic number is equal to number of protons and electrons. So here also it's going to be 17. Here also it's going to be 17. How will you find neutrons? To find out neutrons, you have to subtract atomic number from mass number. That is 35 minus 17. It's going to be 18. So we have all the fundamental particles here. Protons, electrons and neutrons. How did you find out? If you look at the atomic number, you will get the number of protons and electrons. And to find out the number of neutrons, you have to deduct atomic number from mass number. That is 18. Okay? Now, what is the electronic configuration of this particular atom? Which has 17 protons, 17 electrons and 18 neutrons. EC refers to electronic configuration. Okay? For simplifying purposes, I have written like this. Don't use this in your exam paper. Okay? So what is electronic configuration? What is electronic configuration? It is about the arrangement of electrons. How many electrons are there? 17. Now how are you going to place it in each shell? First shell, 2. Second shell, that is L shell, can accommodate 8 electrons. So full 8 we can give. Now 2 plus 8 it becomes 10. How many electrons are there? 17. So you have 7 more electrons. Where will you place it? Next shell. That is N shell. That is K will accommodate 2. L can accommodate 8. And the last 7 electrons we are going to place it in the M shell. So 2, 8, 7 is the electronic configuration of this particular atom. How will you draw the Bohr atom model? You have the configuration. Now you can easily draw, right? Now we draw the atom model. This is the nucleus. How many protons are there? 17 protons are there. How many neutrons are there? 18. This is the first shell. First shell contains 2 electrons. Second shell contains 8 electrons. This is the third shell. It contains 7 electrons. So this will be the Bohr atom model. Is it clear for you? Now we go to the third question. Now what is given there in the third question? Atomic number is given 31. And what is here? One more clue they are given. M shell has got 5 electrons. Actually, A is mass number, not atomic number, sorry. So, mass number is 31. M shell has 5 electrons. So, where does M shell come after K and L shell? K shell, if M shell is having 5 electrons, it means that K and L shell are full. So, how many electrons can be there in K shell? 2. How many electrons can be accommodated in L shell fully? So, it's going to be a full house, 8 electrons. So, 2, 8, 5. That is going to be the electronic configuration. So, what is electronic configuration? 2, 8, 5. Once again, how did we find out? We know that we have a hint that M shell is having 5 electrons. It means that K and L shell both are houseful, full house. So, for the K shell to become full, 2 electrons will be there. Yes. For the L shell to be full, 8 electrons must be there. So, 8. So, 2, 8 and the third shell is 5 electrons, which is a hint. So, this is our electronic configuration. Now, what is this Z? Z is the atomic number. So, what is the atomic number? Atomic number refers to number of protons or electrons. How many electrons are there? 2 plus 8, 10. 10 plus 5, 15. So, how next C is find the number of neutrons. How will you find out neutrons? You have to detect atomic number from mass number. That is 31 minus 15. That is equal to 16 neutrons are there in this particular atom. Hope you understood the third question also. Okay? Clear? Now we will go to the fourth question. Now children, this is our fourth question. We have 3 atoms here in our fourth question. So look at the atoms. 6 protons, 6 neutrons in the first atom. The second atom we have 7 protons and 8 neutrons. The third atom we have 6 proton and 8 neutrons. So 3 different atoms. Okay. Now we have to find out the atomic number, mass number and the electronic configuration of all these 3 atoms. Shall we find out? What is the atomic number of this particular atom? Look at the number of protons. If you look at the proton, you will get the atomic number. So 6. Here, what is the number of proton? So it is 7. Here the number of proton is 6. So 6 is the atomic number of third atom. What is the mass number? How will you get the mass number? You have to add the number of protons and neutrons. So if you add these two, you will get the mass number. 6 plus 6, 12. Here, 7 plus 8 is 15. So 15 is the mass number of this particular atom. Here, 6 plus 8 is equal to 14. So 14 is the mass number of this third atom. Now we have to write the electronic configuration of these particular atoms. To write the electronic configuration, you have to look at the atomic number. What is the atomic number here? 6. So it's going to be 2, 4. 2 in the first shell and 4 in the second shell. Here it is 7. So 2, 5. 2 in the first shell and 5 in the second shell. Here it is 6. So again it is going to be 2, 4. That is 2 in K shell and 4 in the L shell. So electronic configuration is clear. Now look at these 3 atoms and tell me, looking at their atomic number, mass number, tell me which are the isotopes here. So looking at the atomic number, these two are having same atomic number but different mass number. Atom 1 and atom 3. They have same atomic number but different mass number 12 and 14. So these two are isotopes. So 1 and 3 are isotopes. Why? Why you should know how to justify it? Because they have same atomic number but mass number, and the fundamental particle which differs is neutrons. Here it is 6 neutron, there it is 8 neutrons. Okay, so the fundamental particle which differs is neutrons. Shall we move to the next question? Come. So you saw the fifth question. So what was the fifth question? Fifth question, we have 4 elements here. All these elements, some symbols are given. Okay, all these symbols are fake symbols, they are not real. P8 17, Q18. What is the 18? Atomic number, and 40 is the mass number. Okay, and P, again P is coming. Why? We'll see. 8 16. 8 is the atomic number and 16 is the mass number. R 20 40. 20 is the atomic number and 40 is the mass number. So we will go to the question. Question A. Z. What is Z? Z is the atomic number. You have to write the atomic number of all these elements with some specific symbols. These symbols are not real, they are fake. Okay. What is the atomic number of this particular atom? 8. Cc, right. What is the mass number? 17. What is the atomic number of this particular element? You have to look at this number, 18. And what is the mass number? It's going to be 40. What is the atomic number here? Mass number 16, atomic number 8. Here, the atomic number is 20 and the mass number is 40. Now, among these elements, you have to find out the isotopic pairs. We know how to find out the isotopes. Isotopes are elements with the same atomic number but different mass number. Now, look at these elements. Which 2 elements have same atomic number? Here, 8, 8. These 2 elements, that is, these 2 elements are same atomic number. Look at their mass number. Here it is 17 and here it is 16. So these 2 elements are isotopic pairs. You should know how to justify also. Why? Can you explain? Because they have same atomic number and different mass number, and the fundamental particle which differs is neutron. Okay. So these are isotopic pairs. Okay. Now we'll go to the last question. That is, you have to draw the Bohr atom model of Q. Where is Q? This is Q. You have to draw the Bohr atom model. Shall we draw? For that, we should look at the atomic number. How much is it? 18. So what is the configuration? First shell, 2. Second shell, 8. It's going to be full house. 2 electrons can accommodate the first shell. 8 electrons can accommodate the L shell. 2 plus 8 is 10. How many electrons are there here? 18. So remaining 8 electrons we are going to place it in the next shell, that is M shell. So what is the configuration? 2, 8, 8. Now shall we draw that? This is the nucleus. Okay. How many protons are there? 18. 18 protons are there. How many neutrons are there? For that, you have to subtract atomic number from mass number. That is 40 minus 18. It will be 22. Now we will draw the shells. First shell is K shell. It can accommodate 2 electrons. Second shell is N shell. It can accommodate 8 electrons. The third shell is M shell. M shell we are going to place the remaining 8 electrons. So I hope this question is clear for you. All these are the patterns for your exams. So we are concluding our lesson here. Hope you understood this lesson and write down all these textual exercises into your files also. That will be your assignment. Next week you are facing exams. The question pattern will be the same pattern we discussed today. Okay. So So children, what did we learn in this chapter? Hope you remember. I will give you a quick revision. So we learned about the fundamental particles. That's one possible question. Which are the fundamental particles of an atom? Proton, electron and neutron. That is one question which always comes as 1 mark question. Then the features of these fundamental particles that we studied as a column. What did we study? Electron is inside, electron is outside the nucleus and it is negatively charged. Proton is positively charged, found inside the nucleus, and neutron is chargeless, that is also found inside the nucleus. These are the different features of all the subatomic particles we studied. Okay? Then later on we move to the important properties like atomic number and mass number. What is atomic number? For that you have to look into the number of protons or electrons. To put it in a nutshell, atomic number is equal to number of protons or number of electrons. Well, what is mass number? Mass number, you have to add the number of neutrons and protons found inside the nucleus. That is, if you add the number of protons and neutrons, where are they found? Inside the nucleus. If you add these both fundamental particles, you are going to get your mass number. Okay? Is it clear? Then we studied how to write the electronic configuration of all the elements. For this year, you have to study all the elements from hydrogen to argon. That is 18 elements. Well, how to write the electronic configuration of all these elements? You have to look into the number of electrons. Why? Because electronic configuration is the arrangement of electrons. So, you have to look into the number of electrons. Well, how are you going to place it? Well, we studied 3 rules for that. K shell, you can accommodate 2 electrons. L, 8 electrons. And M, 18 electrons. How did you find it out? By using a simple formula 2n square, right? Hope you remember. Well, after that, we studied, what did we study? We studied how to draw the Bohr atom model for all these 18 atoms. According to Neil Bohr, you have to draw electrons as dots, right? We represent it as dots in various shells. For that, you have to draw and see, practice, okay? All the elements from 1 to 8. Okay, then what did we study? We studied about isotopes. What are isotopes? They are the same elements having same atomic number but different mass number. Yes, we studied some examples like protium, deuterium and tritium. These are the isotopes of hydrogen. Then after that we saw carbon 6, carbon 12, carbon 13, carbon 14 with respective symbols. Out of that, we saw many more isotopes. Examples were also there like oxygen. One more column we studied. Then we studied the uses of isotopes. Well, it is very important. Uses of isotopes also comes as 1 mark question or fill in the blanks. So, uses very important. You have to study that. Well, we studied like deuterium is used in atomic reactors. Carbon 14, it's a radioactive element. Okay, it can be used for carbon dating. What is carbon dating? Well, it is used in forensic science to study the age of fossils or prehistoric materials. Then we saw that phosphorus 31 is used as a tracer to find out how much nutrient exchange has been done in plants. Then we studied cobalt 60 and iodine 131. They are used in treating cancers and tumors. Okay. Then we saw uranium 235. It's a very important fuel for atomic reactors. These are the different uses of isotopes. Well, I have put everything into a nutshell. Hope that lesson is easy for you. Prepare well for your exams. It's coming next week. So, all of you will be graded in that. Study well. Get good marks in chemistry. Okay? All the best. Bye.